Picture this for a second. You've thought of everything. The sweater fits perfectly, the jeans are your favorites, your shoes are polished, your earrings match your mood, even your lipstick is in that exact shade that suits you. You walk out of the house feeling like today is your day. And then you catch your reflection in a shop window and realize something's off. You can't quite say what, but the picture just doesn't come together. And you know what it almost always comes down to? The bag. I'm about to say something that might sound a little harsh, but over the years I've seen it proven hundreds of times. You can put together a flawless outfit, calibrated by every rule down to the last button, and one wrong bag will cancel out the entire look. Not because the bag is bad. The bag can be beautiful, expensive, immaculate. It's because it looks like it belongs in a different story, a different movie. You're in one narrative, and it's in another. And that disconnect registers immediately, even if the person across from you can't explain why. Why the bag, specifically? Let's be honest about it. The bag is larger than any piece of jewelry you own, any brooch, any ring. It's in constant motion. You walk, and it walks with you. It sways, it's alive. It sits right next to your hands. And your hands, my dears, are always in the frame. Always. When you say hello, when you pay, when you tuck your hair behind your ear, when you open a door. The other person's eyes drift toward your hands, and they read instantly whatever you're holding. Earrings can go unnoticed. A scarf can blur into the background. A bag can't be missed. Here's the reverse example so you can feel how this works. A gray knit sweater, the most ordinary one. Skinny jeans, loafers, pieces that couldn't be simpler, nothing remarkable. Half the women you know own them. But in her hand, the right bag. And from the outside, it looks as if it all came together on its own, as if this person was simply born with style and didn't lift a finger. Even though, in reality, one single detail did all the work. That's the whole magic, and that's why I love this topic so much. Let me make you a promise right now so you'll stay with me to the end. Today, the two of us are going to walk through 6 real-life scenarios and 6 bags to match. For any occasion, any season, any budget, I promise there's an option here that will work for you, no matter how much you're prepared to spend right now. And at the very end, I'll share a single trick. Completely free, 0 rubles, that changes the way your whole look reads in literally a couple of seconds. No shopping, no running around stores. So stick around, it's genuinely worth it. And now, after all that, let me finally say hello properly. Hello, my dears. I'm so glad you're here with me, that you stopped by. Get comfortable, pour yourself some tea, and let's talk calmly, the way friends do. Because I'm not here to lecture you from on high. I'm right here beside you. I've been through every one of these mistakes myself, and I'm not speaking from a textbook. I'm speaking from life. So here's the first thing I want you to remember. There will be exactly 6 bags, not 40 and not 3. And that number matters, because each of these 6 covers its own specific scenario in your life. Each one has its own role, its own job, its own place. This isn't a random collection of pretty things, it's a system. You know, over all these years, I've come across 2 types of women, and both make mistakes, just in opposite directions. The first type, she owns more than 30 bags, a whole closet, a whole shelf, packed full. And every morning she stands in front of all that abundance and can't pick a single one. Literally nothing to grab. Because everything was bought on a whim, on sale, to match one specific dress she wore exactly once. 30 bags, and not one that actually works for her every day. And the second type, the exact opposite. She owns one bag, one single bag, beige, already a little worn at the corners, and she carries it for every occasion, to the store, to a party, to a meeting for the 5th season running. Not because she can't afford another one, because she doesn't know what else she might need. She's afraid of making the wrong choice. And so the same one bag follows her everywhere, never quite matching anything. Tell me honestly, in the comments, which type are you? Are you the one with way too much and still nothing to grab? Or the one clinging to her one reliable bag, afraid of change? Write to me, I really want to know, and I'll read every comment. And there's no right or wrong answer here, nothing to be embarrassed about. We're all somewhere on that spectrum. But here's where I'm going with this, and it's probably the central idea of today's whole conversation. 6 precise bags beat 40 random ones by a long mile, because it's not about quantity, it's about the system. 6 roles for the 6 real scenarios of your actual life. Not someone else's glossy magazine life, not the life that's being shown to you and pushed on you, but yours, with its walks, get-togethers, trips to see family, holidays, and ordinary weekdays. When you have these 6, you stop agonizing in the mornings. You open the shelf and simply pick the one that fits today because you know exactly what each one is for. And that calm, that ease, it's worth more than any overstuffed closet. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you each of these 6 bags in turn. What it is, what it's for, the common mistake people make with it, how to choose the right version, and, this matters, where to look for it and what it costs. No fancy name dropping, just honest, human advice. We'll start with the one you'll need most often, nearly every day of the week. Here we go. So, bag number 1, the one that will be with you nearly all week long, a soft, roomy, medium-sized, everyday tote. Let me paint a picture, and I'm sure you'll recognize yourself. Morning. You've slept in a little, you're rushing, you grab off the hook that shapeless sack that fits absolutely everything. You toss in your phone, your wallet, your keys, wet wipes, a water bottle, your glasses, and out you go. And from there, the suffering begins. That sack drags down on your shoulder. The strap keeps slipping. You keep adjusting it. And when your phone rings, you frantically dig around inside because it's sunk to the very bottom and gotten lost somewhere between the keys and the makeup pouch. Sound familiar? I bet it does. Now look at how it should be. The right tote is something that works for you, not against you. The material, soft, pliable, pleasant to the touch, it sags slightly into beautiful folds rather than standing stiff. The height, about to your elbow when the bag is on your shoulder. That's a comfortable, well-judged height, spacious but not bulky. The color, warm cream or smoky gray. These are 2 shades that go with almost everything in your closet, not impossibly easy to stain, and at the same time soft, not institutional. The handles, they have to be long enough that the bag hangs freely on your shoulder over outerwear, over a coat or a jacket, rather than digging in or pulling tight. And inside, there must be a pocket for your phone. One small pocket, and that's it. Your phone will never sink to the bottom again. It'll always be in its spot, right at hand. What does this give you? From the outside, you look composed, calm, someone who has everything under control, and effortlessly so. Not a woman who bolted out of the house in a panic, but one whose morning went smoothly. And trust me, people read this in an instant. Where to find it? Good news. You don't need to chase this through boutiques. Affordable high street stores and the usual online marketplaces handle this just fine. Price-wise, roughly 3,000 to 9,000 rubles, and within that range you'll find excellent options. But here are 3 things you absolutely must check with your own hands. First, pliability. Squeeze the leather or faux leather. It should yield softly, not feel stiff like cardboard. Second, the bottom. It should be slightly reinforced so the bag doesn't fold in half when you set it down. And third, the color of the handles. They should be strictly the same tone as the bag itself, or a touch darker. No handles a couple of shades lighter. They'll get dirty fast and look messy. Moving on, bag number 2, a compact crossbody, the kind you wear across your body on a long strap. And here, the main idea is this: hands-free. This isn't about being young the way many people assume. It's about comfort and style, especially after 50. I can already hear the objection. Oh, that's for girls, for students. My dears, no. Let me explain. When a bag hangs across your body, your shoulders automatically straighten out. You're not pushing one shoulder forward, not hunching under the weight, not holding the strap with your hand. Your back straightens, your hands are free, your walk becomes lighter. And from the outside, you look younger and more energetic, not because of the bag's age, but because of your own posture. And here's another thing. The crossbody is the only bag out of all 6 that I allow to be a bright accent. It's your safe playground for stepping into color for the first time, if you've spent your whole life in black and beige and been afraid to try anything else. Reach for a muted plum, or a dusty turquoise, or a warm terracotta. These are soft, refined colors. They don't shout, they simply enhance. A small crossbody is the safest place for that kind of experiment because it's compact and doesn't pull all the attention to itself. On the details, the material is better matte, with no shine. It looks more expensive. The strap absolutely must be adjustable, so you can fit the length to yourself. The closure should be convenient, magnetic, so you can open it with one hand without fussing with zippers. Prices here are quite affordable, roughly from 2,000 to 5,000 rubles. Now, bag number 3, and this will be an unexpected one, the envelope clutch. And I'm convinced every single one of you needs it, without exception, though many of you think it's not for you. Let me come at this through the pain. Sound familiar? You spent 2 hours getting ready for the evening, styled your hair, put on that dress, took out the pretty earrings. Everything is perfect. And on the way out, on autopilot, you grabbed your usual daytime bag, the big tote, or that beige one you use for everything. And that's it. 2 hours of preparation shattered by one detail, because a huge everyday bag next to an evening dress looks like a mistake, as if you dropped by the celebration straight from work. That's exactly what a clutch is for. Its role is evening and semi-evening occasions. An anniversary, a concert, a family celebration, a trip to the theater. The shape, envelope, neat, understated. The color, calm, champagne, or graphite. Those shades go with any dressy look. The size, just enough for the essentials, phone, card, lipstick. And here's the typical mistake: overloading. Don't try to cram everything in. The clutch is small by design, that's the whole point. The material, elegantly matte, without cheap plastic shine that immediately cheapens everything. Prices, roughly from 2,500 to 5,000 rubles. And you know what? Pause right now and answer yourself honestly. Do you even know which shelf your evening bag is on? Or is it simply not there, and at the crucial moment you'll grab the daytime one again? Think about that. Bag number 4, structured, the one that holds a defined shape, for business and semi-business outings. Picture this: 2 women at the entrance to a concert hall, both dressed roughly the same way in something pretty and appropriate. But one is carrying a soft, everyday slouch, and the other has a put-together structured bag with clean lines. And the second one immediately reads as a more confident person, more elevated in status, even though the clothing is almost identical. What matters? A defined shape, a material that holds itself up, but without stiff cardboard padding inside. These are different things. Touch it, and you'll feel the difference. Minimal hardware, and all in one metal tone, either gold or silver, never mixed. Base colors: black, ink blue, cognac. The effect? Composure, a signal of confidence. But here's an important warning. Remember it. Don't carry it every day. This is an occasional bag, 2 or 3 times a week for a specific outing. If you drag it around daily, it'll crumple. The shape will go literally within a couple of months, and the whole point disappears. Prices: roughly from 5 to 10,000 rubles. Bag number 5, the hobo, a soft crescent on one wide strap, the most personal and relaxed of all. Its role: everything that didn't fit the other categories. A trip to family in the countryside, a week by a warm sea, a day off with no plans at all. This is the most honest bag, a signal of calm, a sign that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Here I allow a bold, warm color, honey mustard or sage. I only require one thing: a soft, pliable material. Size: somewhere between a crossbody and a tote. Prices: roughly from 2.5 to 6,000 rubles. And finally, bag number 6, a small backpack in soft leather. For long, active days on your feet, for travel, for trips where it's important to take the load off your back and keep both hands free. The silhouette: compact, neat, with no sporty look. Neutral color, comfortable straps, an outside pocket for the small things you need. And listen, after 50, a backpack isn't a question of age, it's a question of health and posture. Prices: roughly from 3 to 7,000 rubles. Just check how it sits and holds its shape on your back. There they are, your 6. And now, to the most interesting part. So, bag number 1. The most important, the hardest working, a soft, medium-sized tote for every day. The one that'll be with you most of the week. Let me paint you a familiar picture. Morning, you're running late. You grab from the hook that shapeless sack into which everything in the world has been dumped: wallet, keys, tissues, charger, and some receipts from 6 months ago. You sling it onto your shoulder and it immediately drags the shoulder down, throws your whole figure off balance. And your phone? Your phone has sunk somewhere at the bottom, and you're standing by the entrance, rummaging through that abyss with your elbow in the air, feeling awkward. Sound familiar? That's exactly the bag it's time to retire. And now let me describe how it should be. The right tote: a soft texture, pleasant to the touch. Not stiff as a board, not standing up on its own, but the kind that gives slightly under your hand, alive. In height, about up to the elbow, no more, otherwise it starts to look like a grocery bag. The color, and listen carefully here, warm, milky, or smoky gray. Not unforgiving black that ages you and weighs you down, but precisely a soft, enveloping shade that pairs with almost any outfit you own. The handles. Look at the handles especially carefully. They should be long enough for the bag to sit comfortably on your shoulder over outerwear, over a coat, over a puffer jacket. If the handles are too short and you have to carry the bag in your hand or shove it under your arm in winter, that's not the one for you. You'll suffer with it. And absolutely, an inside pocket for the phone. One small, separate pocket, and that's it. The problem of fishing your phone out of the bottom is solved forever. What's the effect of all this? You look like a composed, calm person, without visible effort, as if you hadn't even thought about it. You just grabbed it and everything's in place. Others read it as, "This woman has it all under control." And meanwhile, you haven't spent a single drop of extra energy. Where to look and how much it costs. The good news? You don't need to go to an expensive boutique for this bag. It's easy to find in affordable mass market stores and on marketplaces, in the range of roughly 3 to 9,000 rubles. And when you're choosing, check 3 things by hand. First, the pliability of the material, the leather or faux leather. Crumple it, touch it, it should yield softly. Second, a light reinforcement at the bottom, so the bag doesn't collapse into a rag and actually holds your things. And third, the handle color strictly matching the body or a shade darker, never lighter. Otherwise, they'll get dirty quickly and catch the eye. Moving on. Bag number 2, the compact crossbody. And here I want to talk about the most valuable thing it gives you: free hands. It's comfort and style at the same time, especially, my dears, after 50. And I can already hear the objection. I can literally feel someone thinking right now, but that's for young people, these little shoulder bags. Stop. Let me clear that up right away. This is not a youth thing. The crossbody is about straightened shoulders. When your hands are free, when nothing is dragging your shoulder down and you don't have to press the bag against you with your elbow, your posture straightens on its own. And a straight back always means a lighter, younger look at any age. It's that simple. And there's one more thing. The crossbody is the one piece I'll allow you to make your single bright accent. You know, a lot of women are afraid of color, and they're right to be cautious when it comes to a large item. But a small shoulder bag is a safe place to take your first step into color. It isn't scary to start there. Try a muted plum, or a dusty turquoise, or a warm terracotta. Not loud shades, but soft, refined ones that will breathe life into even the simplest neutral outfit without ever looking vulgar. Go for a matte material. It looks calmer and more expensive than anything glossy. The strap absolutely must be adjustable, so you can fit it to your height and to whatever you're wearing on top. For the closure, I recommend a magnet. It's the most convenient option. You open it with one motion, no fumbling with zippers or buckles. And the prices here are very friendly, roughly 2,000 to 5,000 rubles. This is probably the most affordable bag in our entire lineup of 6. Now, bag number 3. And this one will be an unexpected pick. I'm convinced that every single one of you needs it, without exception. The envelope clutch. Let me describe the pain, and you may just recognize yourself. You were getting ready for a celebration. You did your hair, put on your makeup, slipped into that special dress, took out your beautiful earrings. 2 hours of preparation, and you look lovely. And then you walked out the door with your ordinary daytime bag because you simply don't own another one. And that's it. The whole look, all that careful preparation, shattered by a single detail. A bulky, everyday bag next to a dressy outfit looks like a guest who wandered in from the wrong party. That's exactly what an envelope clutch is for. For evening and semi-evening occasions, an anniversary, a concert, a family celebration, a trip to the theater. The shape is an envelope, flat, neat, elegant. The shade is calm, champagne or graphite, something refined and neutral that will go with any dressy look. The size is just enough for the essentials: phone, card, lipstick. And here's where the typical mistake creeps in: overstuffing. Don't try to cram your whole life in there. A clutch isn't made for that. Stuffed full, it loses all its beauty and shape. Choose a refined matte material, without that cheap plastic shine that instantly cheapens everything. Prices run roughly 2,500 to 5,000 rubles. And now, tell me honestly, do you know, right this moment, which shelf your clutch is sitting on? If you had to stop and think, chances are you don't own one. And that's the first thing I'd advise you to fix. Bag number 4. Structured for business and semi-business outings, the kind that holds its shape on its own. Picture 2 women at the entrance to a concert hall. Both are dressed almost identically, formal, neat. But one simply looks tidy, while the other looks confident and substantial. What's the difference? The bag. The second woman's bag has a crisp shape, holding itself up without any cardboard padding inside. The material is dense and refined. The hardware is minimal and all in a single metal tone. No scattering of shiny details. The shades are basic: black, ink blue, cognac. The effect is composure and quiet confidence. This bag practically speaks for you. I know my worth. But there's an important warning, so remember it. Don't carry it every day. This is an occasion bag, 2 or 3 times a week for a specific outing. If you drag it around daily, stuff it and crumple it. The shape will be gone within a couple of months, and the whole point is lost. Prices run roughly 5 to 10,000 rubles. It's an investment, but it works for you for years if you take care of it. And we're almost at the finish line. We have 2 more bags to go through. I'll tell you about them very soon. But for now, pause for a second and think. Which of these 4 do you already own, and which are missing? Hold on to that thought. We'll need it right at the end. Bag number 5, the hobo. A soft crescent on a single wide shoulder strap. And this, my dears, is the most personal, the most relaxed bag of all 6. My favorite, if I'm being completely honest. What's its role? Now this is where it gets interesting. The hobo is responsible for everything that doesn't fit into any of the other categories. For all of ordinary, warm, casual life. A weekend trip to visit family in the country. A week by a warm sea when you're in no rush to get anywhere. Just a day off with no plans at all when you go out for a walk, stop by a coffee shop, sit on a bench. That's its territory. The places where you don't need to make an impression, where you can just be yourself. I call the hobo the most honest bag. And do you know why? Because it doesn't pretend to be anything. It doesn't shout, "Look how expensive I am." It doesn't try to add formality or status to you. It sends a completely different signal. A signal of calm. A signal that this woman is at ease and doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. And that, trust me, reads as a very attractive kind of confidence, far deeper than any shine. And it's right here, with the hobo, that I'll allow you to take a large, warm, saturated color. Not a small accent, like with the crossbody, but a full-on color on a large piece. Honey mustard. Imagine how it warms up an autumn look. Or sage, a soft, muted green that suits almost everyone surprisingly well. These shades create a mood of warmth and coziness all on their own. The requirements for it are simple, just 2 of them. First, a soft, pliable material, so that the bag falls in beautiful folds and forms that crescent shape. A stiff hobo isn't a hobo anymore. The whole charm is lost. And second, a size somewhere between a crossbody and a tote. Not tiny, but not bulky either, so it can hold everything you need for an outing while still staying light and streamlined. Prices run roughly 2,500 to 6,000 rubles. And finally, bag number 6. A completely new entry in our system. And for many of you, I think, an unexpected one. A small backpack made of soft leather. I know that some of you have just tensed up inside. A backpack? At my age? That's something for schoolgirls, for sports. Wait, don't be so quick to wave it off. Let me explain what it's for, and you'll understand. It's for long, active days on your feet. For travel, for trips, for those days when you walk a lot, carry water and a few other things with you, and you really need to relieve your back and free up both hands. And here I'm going to tell you something very serious, with no coyness about it. After 50, a backpack isn't a question of age or fashion. It's a question of health and posture. When the weight is distributed evenly across both straps, instead of hanging on a single shoulder, your back thanks you. The spine doesn't get pulled out of alignment, the shoulders don't tighten up. It's self-care, the real kind. But, and this is important, the backpack has to be the right one. Not a sports backpack, not a hiking one with a pile of pockets and straps. A compact, neat silhouette in soft leather in a neutral shade. Comfortable, moderately wide straps that don't dig in, and one outer pocket for whatever you need to grab quickly without taking the backpack off. Prices run roughly 3 to 7,000 rubles. And when you buy it, be sure to check how it holds its shape on your back, whether it sags shapelessly. Ask someone to look at you from behind or take a photo. And that's all of them. There are our 6. Tell me, did you enjoy this kind of breakdown? Is it useful for you? Write to me. It's really important for me to know that we're moving in the right direction. And now I want to clear away that one objection that I'm sure is sitting in many of your heads right this moment. All of this is wonderful, but I don't really understand my own style. I don't know fashion. How am I supposed to choose? And here is where I'm going to turn things around on you. Listen carefully. These 6 bags don't require you to understand your style. Not at all. They require you to understand your life and your own life. You know that better than anyone in the world. Let's do a simple exercise right now. Picture your ordinary week in your mind and just match real situations to bags. Shopping and a walk. Those call for the tote. An active day on your feet. Travel. Those call for the backpack or the crossbody. A celebration, a special occasion, that calls for the clutch. An important meeting, a business outing, that calls for the structured one. And everything else, all of your warm, casual life, the hobo covers that. See? You don't need any sense of style at all. You just need to look honestly at your days. Here's the conclusion I want you to take with you. This isn't style. This is a system. A system tied to your life, not to someone else's fashion from glossy magazine pages. And you know, I love this analogy. If shoes are the foundation of an outfit, then the bag is the frame. That very frame around a painting that either highlights the canvas or instantly cheapens the whole impression. A painting can be beautiful, but in the wrong frame, no one will appreciate it. And now, as I promised, that little trick for 0 rubles, completely free. Remember it. Before you head out, step up to the mirror and ask yourself just one question. Only one. Is my bag from the same story, the same mood as the rest of my outfit? Or is it from a different one? From a different movie? Let me show you with 3 examples what different movies means, so you can feel it once and for all. First, light summer linen, airy and delicate, paired with a stiff, shiny clutch on a chain. See the disconnect? Linen whispers of freedom and warmth, while the clutch shouts evening glamour. Different stories. Second, a silk blouse, elegant earrings, and a bulky sports backpack on your back. One look is about femininity, the other is about the gym. It doesn't add up. Third, cozy loungewear knits, soft sneakers, and a structured business bag with a large gold clasp. One is relaxed, the other is buttoned up to the collar. The clash is obvious right away. Here's the whole point. The people around you don't dissect you piece by piece. They don't judge every item separately. They read the mood as a whole in a single glance. And if the mood of your bag clashes with the mood of your outfit, something feels off, even when a person can't quite put a finger on why. And the best part is that the fix is free. Swap out just the bag for one that belongs to the same story, and everything falls into place, without spending a ruble. Next time, we'll talk about jewelry, the kind that can ruin even a perfectly put-together outfit. A topic just as tricky as bags, I promise. So if you found this helpful, subscribe so you don't miss it. And one last thought before we part. Style is what you add last. Your final gesture at the door before you step out into the world. And what people remember as in a good conversation, is how you finished. So finish beautifully. See you soon, my dears.